Well, welcome everyone to Train Tuesday. I'm your host, Jim Wigan with Athearn, and so glad that you could join us. You're joining us live. Thank you for that. We'll do some shout outs here in a second. If you're catching us on the YouTube channel after the fact, thank you. And if you like what you see, please do us a favor, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for notifications for every time a new video drops into our channel. So, like I said, this is live tonight. Let's do one round of shout outs here. I see Michael, see John, Greg, and Dave Reynolds. Sid is here. DG Model Works is in the house. KCG Rail Gilbert is here. BNSF Rail Fan at 4523. Jason, Ronald, Donnie, Michael, Brian, and Remster Railroading, just to name a few. We got about 71 modelers here on board tonight. And I want to thank you for joining us for this live feed. Now, before I go any further, we've got a lot going on at Athearn this week. Tonight, we are doing Train Tuesday live. So if you got to catch us live tonight, thanks for joining us. Tomorrow night, be sure to join us here. This is going to be Wednesday. Some people are reporting that YouTube is saying Thursday night. That is wrong. It is actually Wednesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be joined by none other than Tony Cook himself. We're going to be talking about not just the ICC cabooses that we've announced for pre-order this month, but also, well, he's got some other surprises. So if you want to talk about cabooses, buggies, way cars, hacks, whatever you call them, vans if you're from Canada, be sure to tune in tomorrow night on our live stream. It's 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch it through your Facebook app as well as the YouTube channel. That being said, we do have new announcements coming up this Friday, and that's at our same time. However, be aware that that will be a pre-recorded new announcements. That will be a pre-recorded video. So that will drop automatically at 3 o'clock or 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, Friday the 27th, which is also the last day for you to make pre-orders. One more round of shout outs, and I see Alco Steam, Charles Woods, Terry, Sid is back at it again. I see John, and I see George, and I see some folks out there asking, who's Tony? Well, Tony Cook, he is the editor and the big guy that knows a lot about pretty much anything in HO and N scale anymore. He is editor of Model Railroad News as well as the HO Collector. He also has some other magazines under his belt, and quite often Tony comes on board with Athearn, and we talk about what's new and what's going on. Now, tomorrow night's program will be focused primarily on the prototype, but we've also got some other surprises for you as well. All right, so with that, let's move into this evening's train goodness. We're going to be talking Athearn Genesis Trinity hoppers. We're also going to be talking Athearn HO PS 5277s and Husky stacks. Now, everything that we're going to talk about here tonight, you have until Friday, the 27th, which is just a few days away, to place your pre-orders. So let's get started. So we're going to start tonight with the Athearn Genesis HO scale Trinity 5161 covered hopper. Now, you guys that are modeling, 1990s on to present day, these are going to be in your wheelhouse. Now, 1984 is when Trinity acquired the railcar designs and production facilities of the Pullman Standard Car Manufacturing Company, which was once the largest railcar manufacturer in North America. Now, it was that same year that Trinity also acquired the railcar designs of a General American Transportation Corporation. Also in 1986, the railcar designs and production facilities of the Greenville Steel Car Company were purchased, including the auto rack designs of Protec Paragon. Also acquired in 1986 were the railcar designs of North American Car Corporation, and then later in 87, Ortner Freight Car was also acquired. So with this collection of experience across several facilities, Trinity developed many new designs that became ubiquitous to present-day railroading. One of their most famous designs is the 3-bay 5161 covered hopper. Now, this covered hopper is optimized to transport agricultural products, say sugar, dry chemicals, or other similar products, and can be seen in unit train assignments all over North America. Introduced in about 1995, these cars are extremely common today and are owned by many Class 1 as well as short line railroads. And I can tell you this time of year, being in the central Midwest, I too am seeing a lot of these all over the area. Now, what we've got on our screen right now, this is the previous release. This car here, you may still find in hobby shops. The part number on this is ATHG 97148. We'll come back to this picture later when we talk about the details of this car. But for now, let's talk about what we're going to be offering for pre-order. So coming up first, we've got some BNSF Railway Heritage. Now, BNSF didn't do the Heritage units quite like Norfolk Southern or Union Pacific, but they did do kind of a Heritage thing. They did these Heritage cars. The first one here at the top of your screen, this is the Portland, Seattle, and Spokane Heritage car. This is BNSF car number 482111. And we're also going to offer the other Heritage car, Frisco. That car number, of course, is 483110. Now, these are the only ones that we're doing in this paint scheme. However, if you are a fan of modern day BNSF, say from 2007 on up, we do have a way for you to add to your collection. These are 2007 era on up BNSF hoppers, and these are going to be available in two different 3-packs. Now you can see the first 3-pack is on the screen there. These will include car numbers 482001, 482027, and 482040. The second 3-pack will include car numbers 482009, 482064, and 482097. So there you go. Real easy way to build up your fleet. And let's stick around the Midwest for a little bit, and let's go to our next set of cars. Now, this one was a hit on social media as soon as we announced it, and of course, it's a hit out there in the real world too. Kansas City Southern. We figured, you know what, since this is a fallen flag now, we might as well have some really great cars to offer you. This is 2007 on up. To the untrained eye, you may think these cars are black. They're actually a very dark Brunswick green and a beautiful paint scheme. One of the best Class 1 paint schemes to adorn not only a Trinity hopper, but of course some of their locomotives. Now we're going to offer this particular car and this particular paint scheme as 2 singles as well as 2 3-packs. The car that you see on your screen here is 286055. We're also going to offer the other single, car number 286727. 2 3-packs are included in this run. 3-pack number 1 will include car numbers 286111, 286263, 286332. And likewise, pack number 3 will include car numbers 286495, 286574, and 286688. Another one that got a lot of guys excited was the Iowa Interstate. This is a 2013 on-up car. We're offering this as well in 2 different singles. The car that you see here is car number 4007. The other single that's going to be offered in this run is 4020. And 2 3-packs will complete the Iowa Interstate. 3-pack number 1 will include car numbers 4031, 4050, 4076, and pack number 2 will include car numbers 4035, 4062, and 4088. So again, real easy for you to build up your fleet, especially getting ready for next year's grain operations on your layout. All right, coming up next, we have the Incobarasa Industries Ltd. This is 2005 on up. This one is being only offered with 1 single for this run. Their reporting marks are BRIX, and this is car number 97312. Additionally, we'll offer 2 3-packs for this set. 3-pack number 1 will include car numbers 97313, 97321, 97377. 3-pack number 2 will include car numbers 97319, 97360, and 97384. Cargill. Now this is our most modern one in the group. This is 2020 on up. You're going to have the chance of getting 2 singles as well as 2 3-packs. The first car you see is 1896. Their reporting marks are CGEX. We will also offer another single, and that car is 1905. The 2 3-packs will include the following road numbers. And 3-pack number 1 will include 1090, 1201, and 1518, while 3-pack number 2 will include car numbers 194, 1298, and 1976. Going back to the 90s, we're going to go to the Tate & Lyle car. You can see that at the top of your screen. This is a 1997 on-up car. Their reporting marks are STLX, and we're going to offer 2 singles as well as 2 multi-packs of 3. Car number 6023 is pictured here. You can also get car number 6061 as a single, and 3-pack number 1 will include road numbers 6003, 6022, and 6063. 3-pack number 2 will include car numbers 6030, 6049, and 6078. Trinity Industries Leasing in this really cool blue paint scheme. This is a 2010 on up paint scheme. It too will be offered as 2 singles as well as 2 3-packs. Their reporting marks are TILX, and this is car number 518719. Additionally, a single car number 518737 will be offered, and in the 2 3-packs will include the following road numbers. Pack number 1 will include car numbers 518721, 518728, 518732, and pack number 2 will include road numbers 518722, 518731, and lastly 518736. So there you go. We've got some great prototype stuff here for you based on the prototype. Now we are going to switch gears a little bit, and for you guys that don't like legendary liveries, hit mute for a little bit. You know, I say it every time, these are very divisive cars. You either love them or you hate them. Now, we've had pretty good responses on these cars, and no, these never existed, but it's kind of based on a what if. So every once in a while, we'll have our Athearn researchers take a few liberties, and there are some guys that really like legendary liveries, and they keep selling out, so we're going to keep offering them. So let's talk about these for a little bit. So these are going to be called the Union Pacific Fallen Flags. They're part of the legendary livery system. And the first car that you see here is Chicago Northwestern. This is car number 480020, followed by Denver Rio Grande. This is car number 10417. And then lastly, we have Southern Pacific, car number 496709. Now, these cars here that you see are the single versions, but we're also going to offer 2 multi-packs of 3. So pay attention because they are going to be different road numbers for the roads. That way you don't have to worry about duplicating road numbers. Multi-pack number 1 will include the Chicago Northwestern car 480063, the Denver Rio Grande car 10438, and the SP car 496877. Multi-pack number 2 will conclude same roads but different road numbers. Chicago Northwestern 480095, Denver Rio Grande 10472, and Southern Pacific 497046. So there you have it. Those are the cars that we are going to be offering. Now let's talk a little bit about the details of these cars. If you're not familiar with the Genesis cars, lots of stuff has been added to these for the utmost detail, including the separate brake cylinder, valve, air reservoir, wire brake, plumbing, all of that. The nice thing about Genesis cars, especially if your layout's set at Primo standards or higher, you get to take in all of the detail of the brakes and the brake plumbing and such. They're all going to include coupler cut lever and air hoses on both ends, photo etched metal roof walk, separately applied end cages and etched end platforms. These will have a standard size coupler draft gearbox with a screw mounted lid. Of course, they're going to be body mounted McHenry couplers. Genesis 100-ton trucks with animated spinning roller bearing caps. The wheel sets are going to be 36-inch machined with the RP25 contour so that they'll operate on all brands of track. And the minimum radius on these is 18 inches. However, recommended radius is 22. It just looks better on 22. These are pretty scale length cars. Now, MSRP on these for the individual car is $59.99. The 3-pack is $134.99. Now, again, please keep in mind this is MSRP, so contact your dealer for your price. And again, you have until Friday the 27th to pre-order any one of these cars. All right. Questions on the Trinities? And then we'll move on to our next one. I'm going to go back a little bit. Sid, I see your question. Try to hold on to that question for the end of the show and I'll get to it. It's a good question. I just want to answer it later. Let's see what else. A lot of people liking those. All right. Harold, I've told you before, they're MSRP. MSRP is just the manufactured suggested retail pricing. You need to contact your dealer. A lot of people do. They see the prices and they immediately start freaking out. We're a manufacturer, and the reason why we have an MSRP price is because we have a dealer network. So you're not going to see sale prices cut and slashed on Athearn or direct from Athearn. You're going to go through your dealer. Your dealer is going to have those prices. So just like everything, if you've been to a gas pump lately or been to the grocery store, things do increase. It's called Economics 101, unfortunately. All right. Well, let's move on to the next category, and we're going to talk boxcars next. So these are the Athearn HO PS 5277 boxcars. These are great boxcars for anybody that's modeling, in this case, 70s on up. You've got a small switching layout, or you've got a large layout, or maybe you're part of one of the modular groups. These boxcars just fit just about anywhere. And we're going to be offering these for pre-order once again because we found some popular roads that we wanted to offer you. A lot of these came in from requests from our product suggestion email. And the one that you see on your screen now, this is the Pitkins car. This looks like car number 55389. This part number on this is ATH 15962. They may still be in a few dealer shelves. I don't know. I haven't seen these for a little bit. This is from the previous release. They did sell quickly, but you may be lucky in finding it on your dealer's shelf or maybe one of those online auction sites. Now let's talk about what we are going to be offering for this month. So we've got a little wide range of cars here. First, starting out in the 2000s, this is BNSF. And for each road that we are producing, we're going to have 3 different road numbers. That way you can add to your fleet. Now, the car that's pictured here is BNSF 723277. We're also going to offer 2 additional road numbers, and those being 723380 as well as 723394. Coming up next for you guys that are doing the 1980s, here is a Santa Fe car, and this, of course, is part of our Prime for Grime series. This former Railbox car has now been relettered for the Santa Fe, And again, this is a mid 1980s car. Now, this car number is 51363. We're also offering two additional Santa Fe Prime for Grime cars, including car number 51371 and 51457. Folks that love Cascade Green and love the 1970s, the Burlington Northern is also being offered in three different road numbers. Here is 217666. We're also going to offer two other road numbers, including 217738 and 217746. One of the cars that caught a lot of people's attention on social media was, of course, the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac, or Potomac, depending on how you want to say it. 1980 era on these cars. Here you've got car number 4014. We're also going to offer two additional road numbers, 4007 and 4004. And then south of the border, the NDM. This one was a really popular, and we love the fact that these cars are so popular. This is a 1970s era car. This is car number 101760. We're also going to do two additional numbers, 101637 and 101527. And then finally, in Harvest Gold for late 1970s is the Main Central boxcar. These are kind of a stand-in. I'll let you know that Main Central didn't have this particular boxcar. However, we wanted to offer this car for folks that do enjoy the Main Central, preferably before Guilford. So again, late 1970s era Harvest Gold. The car pictured here is 35163. We're also going to be offering two additional numbers, 35089 and 35077. Now, some of the details on these cars, these are Athearn. We're going to go back to our Pickens car to kind of give you an idea of the details if you're not familiar with them. Now, this run's going to include single 10-foot Pullman standard door. They will have separately applied grab irons, end ladders, and brake wheel. They will also have a photo etch coupler crossover platform, machine metal wheels with the RP25 contours. Of course, they're going to be weighted for optimum performance with body-mounted McHenry operating scale knuckle couplers. These are all highly detailed and injection molded bodies. They're painted and printed for realistic decoration, and the minimum radius on these, 18 inches. So if you've got a small layout, don't worry, you can absolutely add these without any worries whatsoever. Now, the MSRP on these cars, these are being offered as singles. Keep in mind, we are offering three different road numbers for those singles. Prime for Grime MSRP is $44.99, and if you go for factory fresh, they're $39.99 each. Great way to add to your fleet. These cars can be spotted just about anywhere on your layout. All right, let's see if there's any quick questions on the box cars. Jake here at Bev Bell. That brings back a lot of memories. I think I still have some Bev Bell in my personal collection. If you're not familiar with Bev Bell, just do a quick search online. It's a real trip back memory lane. A lot of folks did like the NDM. Michael says he loves the Burlington Northern. Thank you. Let's see what else we've got. Remster wants to know, is it bad that the mix freight train I'm trying to make mostly has Athearn Genesis cars? No, not really. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. Remember rule number one of your layout and your railroad. Rule number one is your railroad, it's your layout. You can do as you like. Free from judgment. I have quite a few Genesis models on my layout as well, and now that we're doing Genesis and N scale, that's definitely going to segue over into some N scale as well. A lot of folks liking the former rail boxes too. All right. No, let's see, Charles. No N scale tonight. We did N scale, I believe it was last weekend. If you want to see some N scale stuff that you can pre-order before the end of the month, go to our YouTube channel, check out Train Tuesday. Remember, we came out with an all new freight car in N scale. So you're going to want to check that out. Let's see, one more question. Greg says Athearn has really stepped up on quality and detail. Well, thank you, and more importantly, our product developers really appreciate hearing that. It's a lot of work. You would think that, since for a lot of us this is a hobby, it would be pretty easy to do, but it really isn't. It's actually one of the toughest jobs a lot of us on Athearn have had. It can be a very demanding job. But fortunately, technology has allowed us to make these models even more detailed than they were some 10, 15, 20 years ago. I still will pick up one of my old Athearn or Roundhouse kits and look at it and be like, we're so far ahead of this stuff now. I still keep them though, but mainly for nostalgia. All right, let's go into the last item for tonight, and then we'll open the floor up for general questions. And let's talk Husky. And I don't mean the dog, I mean Athearn HO 48-foot Husky stack well cars. Now, the one that you see on your screen here, this is a trailer train. This is 56001, and its item number is ATH7425. It's been a little bit since we've offered these single well cars, so you may or may not have a hard time finding these on dealer shelves. But just in case, there you are. Again, the item number on this is ATH7425. Now let's talk about what we're offering for this month. So here's three roads that we wanted to offer, mainly based on what's popular. Now keep in mind, everything that on these cars is 1990s era. The first one, of course, is the trailer train. This is car number 56102. We're going to offer two additional road numbers. That way you can really expand your fleet. Those road numbers include 56177 as well as 56195. Coming up next is the Burlington Northern. A lot of us from the 90s probably remember these, seeing these in service. This Burlington Northern car is 64008. Additionally, we'll offer two other cars. Those cars are going to be numbered 64014 as well as 64005. And then last, we've got the Co-Rail Leasing. Their reporting marks are CRLE, and this is car number 5447. Additionally, we'll offer two other cars, 5491 and 5533 will make up that road. CSX fans, we've got you. A lot of us remember these CSX intermodal cars from the 90s. I know I do. This car here is 61513, and we're also going to offer two additional cars, including 61507 and 61502. And then the Arizona and California. This is a cool car. A lot of requests for this. Their reporting marks are ARZC. This is car number 100017. We're also going to offer car numbers 100004. And if you haven't had enough of zeros yet, you guessed it. The third car in the series is 100001. Now let's talk about the features on these Athearn cars. We're going to go back to the trailer train that we showed earlier. Now, of course, these are fully assembled. They're ready to run out of the box. You can detail them as far as like weathering or further enhance them to your heart's content. They are accurately painted and printed based on the prototype. The injection molded body is super detailed. Separately applied brake wheel, machine metal wheels, screw mounted trucks, and body mounted McHenry knuckle couplers. These are weighted, of course, for trouble-free operation, and the wheels are RP25 contours, so you know they'll operate on all forms or all brands of HO track. Minimum radius on these is 18 inches, and another thing to think about, These are 48-foot well cars, but they are capable of carrying 20-foot to 48-foot containers on the bottom and 53-foot containers up on top. Now the MSRP on these cars is $37.99, and again, you have until Friday, this Friday, the 27th, to place your pre-orders on these. After that, after Friday, pre-orders close, and it gets harder and harder to get one of these guys. So with that, I'm going to take a few questions, and then I'm going to let you guys get back to some modeling. Let's see. Going back to see if there's any questions from when I was talking. Canadian Locomotive Logistics says needs to be in the Genesis line. I think he's saying need these in the Genesis line. So probably someday. Probably someday. Product development's bandwidth is pretty thin right now. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that they're working on, both new products as well as updating current projects. But it is the goal at some point to bring these up to Genesis. Mainline model, where'd you go? Mainline model railroad products wants to know, are there any plans for more legendary liveries and locomotives? Well, good news, bad news, depending on who you are. Yes, we are going to be doing more legendary liveries and locomotives in the future, mainly based purely on the fact that they really do quite well. A lot of folks that will complain on social media that we should be spending our resources on prototype don't realize that we usually have the prototype stuff done first, and we, to extend that run, we'll do some legendary liveries. Now we try to make them plausible. A good example is the Chicago Northwestern SD80 Max. No, they never really existed in real life, but if circumstances had changed, they would have had SD80 Max. So we went ahead and did that. And that was all based on historical documents and news that we had gathered. There's many things that we do that are legendary liveries that if one little thing in history had changed, they would have been not a legendary livery, but they would have been the actual thing. But based on pre-order sales, yeah, we're going to be doing more of those. Late night model railroad. I think of you every time I think about these GP50s. Those tiger stripes are super cool, and you're still waiting, and I get that. We announced those almost 2 years ago now. Part of the delay, of course, that we've experienced. We're really trying to get those out. The current ETA on those is late first quarter, early second quarter. So you're looking at somewhere around spring of 2024. Michael, thank you for the compliment. We try our best on Athearn to make every experience, whether it be online or with your models, to be a good one. The main central box cars are not primed for grime. The box cars in that run, the only one that's primed for grime are the former rail box cars that are lettered for the Santa Fe. So that's the only ones that are primed for grime. Sid says, don't forget about the tunnel motor question, Jim. Okay, I didn't forget, but what was the exact question? I just saw it briefly while I was going through the slides. So if you don't mind copying and pasting that question and put it in the comments, I'll try to answer it real quick. Randall, you have a rather interesting take on legendary liveries. He says the problem with those people is they don't want fantasy schemes, period. They don't care if people buys them. They want to tell everyone what to buy and what not to buy. Yes, clearly they have not adhered to rule number one of our model railroads. Personally, it's not always my thing. I tend to be more of a prototype modeler, and my interest is very narrow. And that doesn't mean narrow gauge. It's just my interest is very narrow. But in the grand scope of things, at the end of the day, this is a hobby. Let's have some fun with it. And if people want to see a chassis ES44, then let them. And again, it's your railroad. You can run whatever you want. Let's see. Here's Sid's question. Seeing that the delivery is in December for the Ohio Central Tunnel motors, do you have a production sample and when should we see pictures of them? So excellent question, Sid. Thank you for asking that. So here's a couple of things. Now I know right now the website's a little bit discombobulated. We do have our web development team working hard to get that rectified. But typically, here's what happens. After your pre-orders are out the door and they're sent to our factory, um, they go into a holding pattern, for a better lack of a better term. And when it gets time for them to get produced, about 6 weeks before they're actually in stock, marketing, or my team, gets the production samples. Now those production samples go straight to our Photoshop. Now we've got a photo studio that we take pictures of. I don't take the pictures, obviously, but we have a professional photographer who takes pictures of all of the Athearn product, and that goes to our website. It goes to dealers sometimes. You'll see it on social media. Sometimes you'll see me post something on social media that says, hey, the GP9s are in stock, or they're coming soon. Typically, if you start seeing pictures, production pictures of Athearn models, usually you have about 6 to 8 weeks roughly to wait for your item to show up at your dealer's shelves. So that being said, I don't have any production photos of the Ohio Centrals just yet. But let me see what I can do, and I'll do some digging around, and maybe we'll put some pictures up. But you should be getting some phone calls from your dealers if you pre-ordered those locomotives. If you didn't pre-order, you might want to get on the phone with your dealer now and say, hey, can you snag me one of those? Because Jim said they're pretty much on their way. Thanks, Sid. That was a great question. I'm going to do one more question, and then I'm going to let you guys get back to doing some model railroading. Terry, I'll end with your question here. Any news on the 60-foot containers? You saw a bunch in Canada last week while on vacation. Yeah, we went ahead and announced those last year at the Amherst show. And pretty much we're going to keep trying for the ETA to be a little bit longer than what we originally projected. I think we originally projected those to be done about March. So we're probably looking more towards June, but keep in mind that that particular project is kind of out there right now. So I don't have a really firm date for you just yet. As we get closer to that and as things get delivered, those dates will get more shored up, and I will try to keep you guys posted on social media as well. All right, a couple of guys asking about the 280 steam locomotives. Look for those at the end of this year, the beginning of next year. That's the current ETA on those. For everyone that joined us here tonight live, thank you for taking time out of your busy modeling schedule. We appreciate it. And don't forget, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, myself and Tony Cook, we're going to talk cabooses. And it's going to be about a half an hour, 45-minute program live. Go ahead and feel free to sign up and ask questions. And don't forget, this Friday at 3 o'clock, we're going to have the new announcements for November, believe it or not. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. Now, that will be pre-recorded, but trust me, there's going to be some great stuff coming out for the month of November. So until next time, everyone, I want everybody out there to be happy, be healthy, be safe, do some good modeling, and above all, high greens. Take care, everyone.